I have a good old Washington apple right here. I'm fueling for my next round of endurance training. I just completed about a 2.5 mile run. It's really hot here in Seattle, Pacific Northwest today. Yep, I'm eating my Washington apple for fuel and fiber. I need those carbohydrates from the sugars in the apple, and I have recently quit, or I'm really on the down, keeping it at low levels for any refined sugar. I just don't, you know. So I want healthy fuel in my system and healthy fats. And that's even when I'm not in like a really extreme training mode. You know, I want to keep this temple in good physical condition. And, you know, sugar is fuel for the fire for things like cancer and anything else. I mean, right before I get in this cold water. Yeah, yes, it's 80 degrees out or so, but that water's still cold. Kind of a low tide. Not too bad, but I'm not going to do as long of a swim. I don't have the time today. Ow! Hoo-hoo-hoo. I have mom duties. On that note, I think I showed you what I call jellyfish hickeys or jellyfish kisses. They're not really. It's my own nomenclature that I developed here. But actually, I did photograph some of these to show you why I'm using Aquaphor. I should have used the Aquaphor prior, and I wouldn't have these, because Aquaphor is a great barrier protectant, and that's why they use it. They give it to radiation patients for cancer and whatnot. Aquaphor is just wonderful, and it prevents chafing, and I should have done that, and I wouldn't have these. But, you know, I put this Aquaphor where my skin, because I'm doing freestyle. When I'm open water swimming, the chafing possibilities are much more extreme, and I'm using repetition as a freestyler. You know, I'm not in the pool doing my butterfly, my backstroke, all that. You know, and when you're doing something so repetitive for so long, it opens up the door for more injuries. You know, whether it's shoulder, swimmer's shoulder, or which when I was a competitive swimmer, man, the butterflyers, whoo, I'm lucky. You know, I was a butterflyer and I didn't mess up my shoulder, so I'm grateful for that. But the skin rubbing up against each other, so you want to put this Aquaphor between your legs, especially, well, if you have a wetsuit on. You should have seen me at the Whidbey Island Adventure Swim several years ago. I wore a wetsuit. That was a long time ago. And when I first got into this, I think I only trained for a week or two before. You know, I was new to open water. And oh my God, you would have thought I had a 3rd-degree burn on my neck. It was just absolutely awful. These are minor compared to what that was if you're wearing a wetsuit. So if you're wearing a wetsuit, if you're a skin swimmer, any place that any rubbing can happen, like between your legs, between your swimsuit, underneath your arms, I highly suggest Aquaphor. It's wonderful. You know, it's a open water swimmer's best friend, really. And it, you know, it'll also protect you for as a barrier against jellyfish, which are a real deal out there. You know, when I did the North Irish Channel, oh, that was terrible. Like I said, in my first hour, I had a lion's mane go right across my face. God awful. But I slathered this stuff on. We are out of we are no longer in the world of goose fat. We don't have to slather that crap all over ourselves, you know, and we can protect the animals. But yeah, Aquaphor is great as a skin barrier, as a protectant for your skin too. And I'm going to be putting on my SPF 50. And I don't have a lot of time. I got to go do mom duties after this. And that's number one. So balancing being a mother with an athlete, documentary photographer, you know, all the elements that make me who I am. You know, there are many components to me, and I have to find balance in that, and that balance means being oftentimes self-reliant on my own calendar. I'm my own coach, I'm my own trainer, and you know, I just read a lot and keep healthy, you know, like I said, eating my Washington apple. I might get in 1.5 miles, 2 miles, I don't know, we'll see. You know, it's all dependent on time. My wonderful Garmin swim watch, open water swim watch, I love that thing, but it bit the dust at like 3 years. You know, I mean, I'm out there, I'd love to have another one, but anyway, something is going on out there. This is the scuba diving underwater park, and they're always doing something, and there's like it looks like a house out in the middle of the scuba diving marina. So anyway, fuel for the fire, you know. But actually, when you're putting that fan on the fire, that's your oxygen level. And I don't think my oxygen levels were as great this morning because I ate too much and then went directly into a run. But I think things have settled down now. So, whew, gonna get out there. Thank goodness for Aquaphor. Never forget it. Okay, we're recording. Oh. I am going to show you now what jellyfish soup looks like. The jellyfish, moon jellyfish, lion's mane are starting to breed, and it's getting pretty murky because of that. I think it's like partially jellyfish larvae, and when they get in your suit, it's god awful.